All right. Well, then, yeah, episode 1 of whatever the hell we're calling this podcast.
Mm-hmm. He'll figure it out later.
Edit that in post. This is where the robot voice will be like.
Here today on the first episode is.
Well, we know what the first episode is, and that's building Briar. Mm-hmm. Building Pauper Briar, I should say. Which actually.
If you really want to get technical, what is it? Common
or blitz.
Yeah, common or blitz.
Common or blitz.
That's it.
Suppose I should have.
But nobody likes that.
All right.
It's 2 words instead of 1.
Now, normally, I've mentioned this, I think, a couple of times, maybe in videos, but when I build decks, I start by looking at what other people are playing, and in the non-commoner formats, because you can't find any commoner deck lists anywhere, but...
Well, there is one card that is auto-included in this deck.
Yeah.
It's Briar.
Well, that's true. That's true. But we don't actually even have any blitz decks to go off of.
That's true.
Which is the weird part here. So we only have classic constructed.
There's one right here. It's just,
Well, yeah.
I mean, posted it.
There's this developer blitz brawl deck, but, But...
That's like a welcome deck.
Yeah, exactly. But we do get to start
Which isn't
off...
to say that, they haven't had broken welcome decks before.
Oh, that's true. Chain and Bolton. Oh, and then here we go. U.S. National. That was a Briar one. Okay. So I have a feeling I know what we're going to find that's common with all of these.
Briar.
Aside from Briar, 3 red
Rosetta
ball lightnings,
Thorn.
3 yellow ball lightnings. No blue. Oh. Wow. I'm playing
blue.
Shock Charmers too. And then, yes, Rosetta Thorn.
I guess it's because the blue is only 1 damage.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it still has the buff effect. And let's see.
That's
true.
Yeah,
Arcanic Crackle in this. That's hilarious. Okay, yep. No blue ball lightning. Okay. The funny part is, so many of these cards are actually Pauper playable. Like, so many of them. Like, Ravenous Rabble is a Pauper card.
Yeah.
Like, Arcanic Crackle is a Pauper card. I think Captain's Call is even a Pauper card. Okay, so I guess no blue ball lightning. It's just the other ones. Although we might be playing blue ball lightning by the end of this. So, The big things here, so what we're going to lose is I think, Lightning Surge, Lightning Press.
Yep, those are rares.
Those kind of things. Enlightened Strike, Command and Conquer, obviously.
Yep.
I think, is Captain's Call a rare, or is that Pauper playable? Oh, okay, so Lightning Surge we get to play.
Yeah.
Wow, they are using that one. I mean, I guess it costs 0, makes sense. Captain's Call is a rare. Oh, shucks. Okay. Snatch, I don't believe is common. Scar for
That's
Scar.
a rare.
I don't know if Scar for Scar actually goes in the deck. That could just be... Because this is classic constructed, so they have their sideboard in here, in the list. So, like, obviously Command and Conquer is a sideboard card. Exude Confidence we don't have either. And all of these blue cards we don't have. And Gargonian Tome. Why is that listed separately? Oh, it doesn't pitch for anything. I forgot about that.
Right.
It legitimately does not pitch. Well, it's not Pauper, anyway, so... Alright, well, I mean... He's running Snapdragon Scalers. Yes! Oh, Lord, all of them are, too.
Okay.
Alright, well, yeah, that... I mean, kind of already assumed Snapdragon Scalers was going to be going into the deck, but...
that was on my list.
And what's the chess piece they're running? They're running Findall Spring Tunic.
Of course.
Yep. And Grasp of the Arcanite. So, yeah, I guess we're pretty much...
So what's standard for Pauper chest for Runeblade? Aether Ironweave?
Probably going to be Aether Ironweave. And for the helmet, we're almost certainly...
Crown of Dictamy?
Yeah. Because it just does what Plume of Evergrowth does, but better.
And I guess you could have the...
It does the the Earth hat better.
Sideboard would be Null Rune Hood, maybe?
No, you don't need to because it has Arcane Barrier on Dictamy.
That's true.
Let's see. So, Crown, and then we are probably running Aether Iron Weave out of the Pauper equipment because it has Battle Worn and does give us resources, which kind of puts it ahead of everything else.
Which one?
Aether Iron Weave.
Yeah.
And we are on Rosetta Thorn. Maybe Nebula Blade makes it into the sideboard, depending on what we have spots for.
I guess.
Or what's worth running.
I guess it would be like...
oh wait, and legs were on Snapdragon Scalers because it is better than Sutcliffe's Swede shoes, tragically.
Swede shoes?
Glove is where it gets more odd. I guess we don't pick the glove at this point.
Okay.
So we're probably not playing Goliath Gauntlet. She definitely seems to be a lot of 0 costs.
What about Mark of Lightning?
You could play Mark of Lightning, or you could play Stubby Hammers. Because Stubby Hammer is probably going to buff a lot of things. You don't play Bracers of Belief. You don't play Cracker Jacks.
Oh, back to chess. What about Vesta, the First Fist?
Well, you have to hit with it.
That's true.
And Aether Ironweave blocks.
It is.
That's the big thing. Aether Ironweave blocks. And you can block with it and use its effect. So. Yeah, we'll revisit this.
Okay.
I have a feeling Stubby Hammers is the best choice for the arms, but we'll revisit that. So I think the obvious inclusion here is we're putting in the Ball Lightnings. You know what I mean? Like, clearly, Ball Lightning is really, really busted. So we add the two red, we add the 2 yellow, and we'll think about blue. Well, okay, what else did they have here? Arcanic Crackle, is that in all of them? Because that seems reasonable. I'm a fan of red Arcanic Crackle.
You know, we don't have to follow their trends. We can be better.
I mean, that's true, but, like, I think some of these... Like, I'm not necessarily saying we're going to lift this whole list, but, like, Arcanic Shockwave, that was already an auto-include. Yeah. Although they're only running the red one, which seems weird. Like, they're running...
Wait, Arcanic Shockwave or Arcanic Crackle?
Both.
Okay.
Both, they're only running the red.
I thought one of them was a rare.
Nope. They're both common. So Arcanic Crackle is this one, the 0 cost.
Oh, it's only one? Okay, I'm thinking of Vexing Menace.
Oh, yes. Vexing Malice?
Malice, yes.
Yeah, that one is a rare. Okay, so...
It does too.
Yeah, so we're on the Arcanics too. That one for sure we add Arcanic Crackle to Arcanic Shockwave too. It's a little weird that there's only the reds on, especially like, I mean I guess they all do arcane damage, but I mean like yellow Arcanic Shockwave does the same thing as red Arcanic Crackle. It's like in every way, so it's a little weird that they're not running it, but okay, what else here is playable? The Ravenous Rabbles I really want to use because it's never really seen play. Mm-hmm. Because it's such a mediocre Pauper card. So I do that. I want to do. I feel like the Scar for Scar is a sideboard card, so that might not make the list. But like Ravenous Rabble making the list is
remember the art, yeah.
Yeah. That's just so funny that that's a card that gets played. I was thinking all of the attacks were 0 cost because of this card, but this is the pitch, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, like, it's going to swing for, like, the red one's going to swing for anywhere between 2 and 4 damage. And it already has Go Again. So I think it is actually, like, a decent pick here when you can do, like, these crazy Ball Lightning chains. But that's also why I'm surprised they're not running blue Ball Lightning, because then you can have your Ball Lightning chain more often.
Yep.
Okay, so Ravenous Rabble.
Well, but then if you...
Entwined Lightning, I'm a fan of that, too.
Was it reveal cards and it's -X for Ravenous Rabble?
Yes.
Then if you reveal a blue Ball Lightning, it gets -3.
Well, I mean, that is true. Okay, that's fair. You raise an excellent point on that one. That's probably why there's almost no blues, yeah. And why everything costs 0, so you don't have to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I am a fan of doing Entwined Lightning like they have, because I love this card.
It's a good card.
This card I love. I love the red Entwined Lightning. I have a feeling we may need to put more Lightning cards in the deck. Because they have a bunch, because they have access to Weave Lightning and stuff like that, which obviously in Pauper we're not going to have.
There's Lightning Surge.
Lightning Surge, yep, right. So we include that too, because that counts towards fusing. And we do need to fuse Lightning. So I guess we are sort of trying to avoid blues, as funny as that is. Okay. Lightning Surge, 2 of those. So currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Lightning cards. So we probably want 4 more by the time we're done. Okay. At least that's what worked for Old Him. Old Him is 10 ice. 10 ice cards.
Yep.
And as you saw, I was able to fuse ice pretty reliably.
How do you feel about
Electrify?
Electrify.
There's a very good chance that one will make the cut.
Okay, we'll come back to it then.
Yeah, we're almost halfway full at this point. What do we think about Nimblism? That's another one that never makes the cut, but they're running it. Let me brush up on what the red one does. The people who are winning tournaments with it. Okay. I mean, it's a 0-cost generic action with Go Again. And pumps everything in the deck. Why don't we run Nimblism more?
Well, no, it's 1 or less.
Yeah. Everything in the deck costs 0.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we run Nimblism in more decks?
I don't know.
You could definitely run that in, like Chain, for example.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I put that in instead of Spew Shadows.
Isn't that just like... Well, no, you do want Warmongers in Chain. But isn't that better than, like, Come to Fight? Because I forget what Come to Fight does. Come to Fight just blocks for 1 more. But it costs 1.
It does. I'd rather have a 0 cost than a block for 1 less.
I feel like you...
Or block for 1 more.
I feel like you would, right? And if Chain, everything's 1 or less, right? That's what we established. Everything costs 1 or less.
Shadows.
Okay.
At least in my deck.
Yeah, but that's an attack action card that this affects.
That's true.
Huh. Yeah, no, Nimblism goes in. Oh, that is really good. And the sweet thing with Nimblism here too is that since it's a non-attack action, it blocks for a ton off the embodiment of Earth.
Yep.
Hope I'm on the right thing here. Okay. What else we got going on over in the land of other people's stuff? Anything different here? Nimblism. I think that's pretty much it for the Pauper cards that they have. And I think all of those make the cut. Like, nothing we put in, I'm like, super questionable on. You know what I mean? Like, all of them seem reasonable. Maybe Scar for Scar does make the cut. I mean, it's a 4 power, and if you have less health, it gains Go Again. I guess that's not really a sideboard card. That really is just like a main board. Okay. I think we could probably run that too. Right?
Now, what about the controversial Bramble Spark?
Well, so here's the thing. We're now like... So if I put in the Scar for Scar, we're at 20 cards.
Yeah.
So we still need 20 more cards to go.
That's true.
And we've lifted everything off the lists. So now we have to figure out what we fill in these gaps with.
Okay.
What do we think about Blue Ball Lightning?
Blue Ball Lightning?
Oh wait, you know what? Here. So
Blue Ball Lightning.
We're gonna drop these because I don't think we need these deck lists anymore. Because we just grabbed everything off of them and we're not missing anything else. So let me open another tab here. That's what I forgot to do. So we have Runeblade, commons there. Let's take off this. No, how do I unselect it with these? Oh, I can reset, can I, at the bottom? Reset, common, and let's go to light. Did they? What? Oh, no, okay. Light and shadow are under the same thing, even though they're not elemental. Okay. So common lightning cards, what we have to choose from, we're not running Heaven's Claw. That's just bad.
Yeah.
Shock Striker, I'm also not a huge fan of.
No, it's too circumstantial.
So, we need 4 more lightning cards, I think.
So we've got the ball lightning.
But we only have red and yellow.
Yeah, but we're thinking about the blue.
Yeah. And we could also do stuff like...
We could also do
Electrify costs 1.
It does.
I don't know if that's a problem. And we could also always go up like a yellow lightning surge too. Because we only have the red. I feel like we're really low on non-attack actions, but maybe that doesn't matter that much. Well, if we're going to be running Rosetta Thorn...
if you're going to be running Rosetta Thorn, you want it to be about equal.
But the other... You know what? I should not have closed those deck lists. They're all pretty much the same though. So let's just Whoop, nope. Don't drag it. Okay. So let's do a quick count here. This is a non-attack action, right? Captain's Call. Yes. Okay. So 3 Lightning Press is an instant, right? Yes. Okay.
Does that count as that?
No.
No?
Nope.
Really? Oh, because it's not an action. Yeah.
Yep. 3, 6. What does Snatch do? That's an attack. Okay. 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. Wait, am I doing that right?
Does
3,
it not give you
6. It doesn't give a number of non-attack now.
That's annoying.
6, 9. Oh, plus Captain's Call 12. Pulse of Candlehold is non-attack action. So we're at 13. Remembrance is an instant? Yeah. We're at 13. Plunder Run is an attack as well. Oh no, Plunder Run is an action card. Okay. 13, 16, 19. 19.
Yep.
Okay. And then 21. I think Sting of Sorcery is also yes. So 24.
Whoa.
24 plus is so 30. 30 out of 76? No, less than 76. 30 out of like 74.
Are you going off of classic?
Yeah.
Constructed?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to get like a percentage here, because this is classic constructed, this list. So
okay.
I have to. So it's 30.
It was like 30 out of 40.
Out of like 74. 40%.
Yeah,
okay. So.
But then you also
So
have
that
to take
means
into account.
we know what we need to add a lot of to our deck then.
But how many attacks are there? Because it seems like there are a bunch of instants as well.
There's not a ton. There's a few.
Yeah.
And they're mostly sideboard ones.
But what I'm saying is, if it's like 40 and 40, then that's essentially 50, because we're not using any instants.
Well, let's see. So there's 1 instant Remembrance, plus the Lightning Presses, so that's 4. I think that's it. I think it's just those 4.
Okay, then that's...
Yeah.
So it's essentially like...
So it would be the equivalent of like 20 attacks, 16 plus... Well, actually, it'd be a little bit... The numbers would be a little different, but...
It's still better to get it
closer. But essentially, we're probably going to want about 16 non-attack actions to get the same kind of effect. And
maybe
we have
a little
2.
more, because we have less cards.
I think 16's probably fine.
You think so?
I think so, for consistency's sake. Because that's 40% of our deck. And realistically speaking, we don't need a ton of them. We just need 1. We need 1 every turn. So if you have 40% of your deck that, you should have 1 every turn.
That's true.
And that's all you need. You just need the 1 to turn on Thorn. So that brings us back to where we were then. And there's probably some generic non-attack actions. Okay, what do we have? So we have our Come to Fights. What do we have that could cost 0?
For generics?
Lead the Charge.
What about read the runes?
That's true. Actually, yeah. I forgot about that part. Okay, so for generics in here, yeah, but read the runes pretty bad for us.
It is.
So this is probably very good for Bramble Spark. We're probably very much running Bramble Sparks at this point then.
Okay.
Well, we're probably almost certainly running Bramble Sparks at this point. Because we need to fill in those non-attack actions, and Bramble Spark costs 0, I think, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Costs 0.
Yeah, so it's like... Oh, look, they made a special graphic for you.
Yeah, I've seen that in my
that's funny.
My chain deck when I looked at it. Just all of a sudden, bam!
Got your ass. I really thought that she would run more like Singeing Steel Blades and like Stir the Wildwoods, but nobody running that. The person I was talking to on Saturday was very, or Sunday was very up on Sutcliffe's research notes, and I am not so sure of that myself. We're definitely not running it in Briar. It's definitely not good in Briar because we have a lot of elemental stuff, so there's lots of whiffs by comparison. But I don't know. I don't see that doing a lot for Runeblade. Maybe Viscerai. It might be better in Viscerai, where you're a little more rune chant focused.
Yeah.
Then maybe I can consider that for the replacements for my really terrible deck. Okay, so Bramble Spark's an easy include, right? Do we put all 3 colors in it?
I don't know about that.
I mean, you're never going to fuse it.
No.
So
no.
all it's doing is adding 1 arcane damage. But I mean, like, do we need the non-attack action so much that we need all 6 of these?
How many did we have?
0. We have 0 right now.
We have 0 non-attack actions?
Oh, no, we have 2.
Okay. And we want 16?
Yes. So we need 10 more.
I mean, what we could do for now is fill it out with Bramble Sparks, and if we find something better,
that's true,
quote unquote, we can just take away.
Hang on. I'm looking back at my list of non-attack actions too. Minnowism. I want that to be good, but Ball Lightning works. Ball Lightning works. Arcanic Crackle works. Shockwave does not work.
That was a base
3. So that's base 3?
Yep.
Base.
3 or less.
So Ravenous Rabble doesn't work.
Nope. Well,
no, because it's base.
Oh,
it's base.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yep. Lightning Surge doesn't work. Entwined Lightning doesn't work. Scar for Scar doesn't work. So all it hits is these 6. That's probably not good enough to run.
No.
But it costs 0.
It does.
Ugh. That's what I was looking at over here. Otherwise, like in generics, there's not a lot of 0 costs. Whisper of the Oracle. You almost run the red for the first time ever, because you don't want to pitch it. You don't want it to flip for Ravenous Rabble. Because that's what I'm trying to look. I'm trying to look at the zeros. Do we run Lead the Charge maybe? Lead the Charge is usually a beautiful thing, right? Lead the Charge red if you play an action card with cost 0 or greater. Okay, so we really can only run red then for Lead the Charge too. Because once we yellow, it's 1 or higher, which we don't have much of. But I guess that's an easy include, so we can do the 2 red. Right? I mean, like I don't think that's a bad thing for us to have, right? I don't think that hurts us ever.
Lead the charge?
Yeah.
No,
it just makes it easier for things like Lightning Surge that doesn't generically have Go Again, and Scar for Scar that's not going to always have Go Again. Entwined Lightning, in theory, will always have Go Again, because in theory, we'll always have a Lightning card for it. Usually. Okay. Alright, so I think the red Lead the Charge is fine, because that just makes it so Oh, and Arcanic Shockwave. That also doesn't have go again.
Okay.
So that's like 2 of these are conditional go agains. Technically 3 if you count Entwined Lightning. So there's three conditionals plus Shockwave. Oh, Arcanic Crackle doesn't have it too. So yeah, Lead the Charge is great. But again, they all cost 0. So like red Lead the Charge is great. Mm-hmm. But the rest not so much. All right, and then what was the lightning cards we had again? So we have Electrify that we were thinking of. Amulet of Lightning's not awful, to be honest. Like, I actually stand by that statement because it does cost 0. The big problem here is it's blue. That's the big problem.
It is a blue.
But it gives go again.
Non-attack action.
If we confuse something, it gives go again.
Yep.
But it is a non-attack action that already has go again. Mm-hmm. The big problem is it doesn't block.
Nope. Not a one bit.
But there's only 2 of them in the deck. So how likely are we to be punished by that?
You say that. we're going for streamlined here. There can be no hiccups.
Because we still need 4 lightning cards, right? Because we have the 4 ball lightnings and the 2 lightning surges. So we still need 4 if we want to. Because once you have 4, that means so you have the 10 lightning cards. That means on average 1 in every 4 cards, which means 1 in every hand. Which is the goal if we want to be able to consistently entwine or fuse. The question is, how often do we need to fuse as well, I suppose? Not really all that often. Because it's just the 2 shockwaves currently and the 2 entwine lightnings.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to go up some number of these, though. Like, at least Arcanic Shockwave, I feel like yellow finds a place here at some point.
I could see that, yeah.
It's
only 3, though, right?
Yeah, but like 3 is still at least a decent bit of damage.
Mm-hmm. And it does 1 arcane when it's fused.
Mm-hmm. And it is an elemental action, so it applies off ball lightning. So like a couple of things we have here don't actually work off ball lightning. Because ball lightning only buffs elemental and lightning.
Right.
So it buffs Arcanic Shockwave, it buffs Entwined Lightning, it buffs Lightning Surge, but the rest of these it does not buff. It does not buff Crackle, it does not buff the Rabbles, it does not buff Scar for Scar. So if we do add the 3rd ball lightning, the blue one, then we probably want to add more elemental stuff too, or lightning stuff.
Okay.
But like the elemental Runeblade stuff counts.
Yeah.
And there might be some more that we want to run. I'm not really sure. Because it's kind of weird with, like, her cost restriction makes things rough. Alright, do we run Amulet of Lightning? I'm going to tentatively put this in.
We can put it in, we can always remove it.
Yeah. And this puts us at what, like 2 blues? I think that's our only blues? Yeah. These are our only blues currently.
Did you put Amulet of Earth in there?
No. No, lightning. What?
Is that just the filter?
Yeah, it's the Okay. It's because I typed Amulet in.
My bad.
The question is, how many more expensive things can we put in, like Electrify and the likes? All right.
Expensive.
So Bramble Spark. We put in the red, right? At this point, do we put in the yellow too? Because it seems like one of the best. It's a non-attack that costs 0.
Well, I think you actually want the blue because the red. There's no difference between.
There's no difference between any of them.
Yeah, because we're not fusing them.
Yeah, they're not going to buff anything.
So we'd want the one that pitches for more.
But we don't want a pitch 3, right? Because of Rabble. Because we have the
right. I forgot.
Because we have the 4 Rabbles.
You're right.
I mean, it shouldn't be the craziest warping part of our thing because it's only 4 cards. So classic constructed, it's 9, or no, it's still 6. They're not running the blue Ravenous Rabble. But we do have Rabble, and that does incentivize us to do reds. Yeah. And so far,
or rather, not blues.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's true. But like so far, we don't have anything that costs more than 0, so we don't actually have to pitch for anything in our deck.
That's true.
Right now, currently, which I guess begs the question of what the point of Aether Ironweave is. But It's the only thing that we need to pitch for is swinging with Rosetta Thorn.
Right.
Which we can always use Iron Weave to pay for. So I guess we could go up cost a little bit on a few things, because right now it's just Crown and Rosetta Thorn that costs. Yeah, well, so I guess red Bramble Spark, maybe yellow?
Aether Iron Weave, we could only do that if we played an attack and non-attack action.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we should be able to do that pretty handily.
But I mean, if you've done that, why do you need to swing with your sword, right? Unless you played
just more attacks. Just more attacks. That's why. Just more attacks. Now, Rosetta Thorn is a generic Rune Blade. So, like...
Generic?
I thought they did this. Common? No, it's a generic Rune Blade weapon.
Rune Blade.
It's just Rune Blade weapon. Yep. I thought they were doing this because it's kind of cool that now Rune Blades, all the Rune Blades have access to another weapon, whereas Chain only got to use Galaxy Black.
Yep.
So Viscerize only had Nebula Blade until now. As we're building this deck, I'm realizing that it may not be an elemental Rune Blade weapon because they didn't want Ball Lightning to buff it. If they thought of that, that's smart. Do you think we add the yellow Bramble Spark too? So we have 4 Bramble Sparks?
Ball Lightning's only action card.
Oh, it's action card? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
What were you saying?
Do we add the yellow Bramble Spark?
Yellow Bramble...
I mean, right now we have 2 blues and 4 yellows. And the other... however many... so that was 6 cards. So the other 20 cards are red. Oh, this curve is going to be so wild.
So the issue with only having reds is you can only... Well, they're up 0 cost, though, most of them.
Yeah, everything's 0 so far. We haven't put anything in the deck that we have to pitch to pay for yet.
Okay. So it doesn't really affect...
So these Rabbles are swinging for 3 and 4 damage.
Yep.
With Go again. That's currently, for the most part, unless we flip an Amulet, then it's Sad Panda time, but... Alright, I think we should put the yellow Bramble Spark in.
Okay.
I think that
it's
won't
more
hurt
arcane damage.
Yeah.
And it only minimally affects the Ravenous Rabble.
Yeah. And again, it's only 4 cards out of 40. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna regret saying those words. I feel it in my bones, but do we actually put in Red Whisper of the Oracle? Just to have another non-attack action that costs 0 and only pitches for 1?
What's that, op
3? It's op 4. It's op 4. Man, those foils I pulled will finally do something, though. It's op 4. It blocks for 3, actually. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
It's not bad, actually. Well, screw it. I mean, for now, let's toss it in there and see what happens.
We'll give it a go.
We're at, what, 10? We need 6 more?
6 more.
It's not too bad. But we can't do more lead the charges currently. Minnowism's pretty bad right now, but we may have to be adding in more things that don't swing for 4, so maybe Minnowism starts to get better. Let's look at attacks too, because we're going to need more of those, right? Not many though. We're actually pretty much almost there on that. Are there any other 0 damage attacks? Wounding blow costs... Oh no, it doesn't. It costs 0, but it doesn't have Go again.
I mean, there's Singeing Steel Blade, but that's 1.
Yeah. Fervent Forerunner. That's an option too.
It's a 0, but it's just more opt, isn't it? And
what? Yeah, it's a 0, so the red swings for 3. If it hits, it opts, and if you play it from the arsenal, it has go again.
Oh, go again.
Which is like the lightning surge at that point. What are 0 costs that do? So Wounding Blow is another one, but it doesn't have go again, which is kind of rough. Though we're like... It seems like it's bad if we start adding more things that don't have go again. But it's like, do we add reds that swing for 4 but don't have go again? Or do we add yellows that swing for 3 but do have go again? Because that's kind of the spot we're in. Although we can't even afford putting that many more things in our attacks, funny enough. I guess Amulet of Lightning kind of counts towards our non-attack actions.
It does.
So we're at 12. We need 4 more of those.
Okay.
And then we have to figure out what the last... we need 2 more attacks, at least, I would say. We need 20 attacks. And then the other 4 spots, that gets more tricky. That's like, do we want defense reactions? Do we want attack reactions? But probably not instants. There's like no good instants. In fact, I think, let me see, common instance. What do we have here for common instance again? That's...
Is there one?
Yes. Memorial Ground.
Oh.
Put attack action from graveyard to the top that costs 0, 2, or less. Or 0 to 2 or less. Which, honestly might do okay things for us, but again, instants aren't great. 2 or less.
It doesn't affect our non-attack actions.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to avoid them in the Rune Blade anyways. Do we want the blue ball lightning? What other... Okay, hang on. Before we even go into that, what other elemental attacks could we even put in? I forgot to... Okay, let's make another tab here. Let's get the elemental tab going.
You mean just elemental?
Yeah, just elemental.
Okay.
I mean, we'll look at the elemental Rune Blade stuff too, but I think just elemental and common means Entwine Lightning. I think that's it. But I wanna make sure that that's actually... Oh.
Could always do Entwine Earth. Ooh.
Yeah.
Except that costs 2.
I guess.
Oof.
Yeah. I think it literally is just Entwine Lightning. So it's if we want other copies of Entwine Lightning. Oh wait, Rejuvenate costs 1. And we could always try Invigorate. I'm not hugely a fan of Invigorate because it's only things we fuse. And right now we don't have a lot of attacks that fuse.
What about Yellow Lightning Surge?
We could do Yellow Lightning Surge. We could do Yellow Entwine Lightning. In fact, I am a little bit more inclined to go Yellow Entwine Lightning before Yellow Lightning Surge, but we could do both.
Okay.
Those would be fine. I'm also tempted by a Yellow Arcanic Shockwave. But right now, the only things we have that fuse, so we have 4 cards that fuse Lightning.
True.
Which makes Amulet a lot worse on reflection. Because Amulet only gives go again if we
when
fuse.
When you fused, yeah.
What's Adrenaline Rush?
But no. It's a 0 cost, right?
It is a 0 cost.
So you can just put it on the field.
Yes.
And have it there until you need it.
Also do stuff like Lunging Press. It's a 0 cost attack reaction. We could put defense reactions into. All right, are we on the Lightning Surge and Entwine Lightning, adding the yellows?
That seems appropriate, I think.
Okay. Do we add in the yellow Arcanic Shockwave?
Do we have room for that?
Because
we were at 12 and we just added 4, right?
I think we have room. Nope. Not a yellow. Nope. Get out of here. Okay. We have 22 attacks right now, and we have 12 non-attacks.
Oh, you didn't add the 4 yellows?
No, I just did. I added the yellow entwine and the yellow lightning.
12.
What? We're on 18. Now we're up to 22.
No, not. I thought you said we had 12 non-attack.
Oh, we have 12 non-attack actions, so we need 4 more.
Before we added those 4, I thought you said that. Maybe.
What 4? Well, those aren't non-attacks. Those are attacks.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about the wrong list.
Now, again, now we have these. So this is, let's see, 4 that attack for 3. 4. This is always going to attack for 3. So that's, oh wait, no, that's not base though. 4 plus this, that's 8. 8 attacks that Minnowism could affect. I mean, if we add in the Arcanic Shockwaves, the yellows, we then have 10 cards that we can use Minnowism on. Which is a 0-cost non-attack action. Okay. And we don't actually seem to care about fusing. So we don't need a specific number of lightning cards at this point, I'd say. That we don't have to worry about as much. I mean, we did just add more entwined lightnings, but it's a semi-low number compared to like the old Hymn deck. Rites of Replenishment is too expensive. That costs 2. So I don't think we can run that for what we've got going on. It's a very different way than I expected to go with Briar, but it's working very well in tournaments, and it looks reasonably good. It does look reasonably good. Yeah, I don't think any of the other Elemental Runeblade stuff is good. So maybe we don't add more ball lightning.
Okay.
Because like the other Elemental Runeblade stuff all costs like 2. Like Rates cost 2, Stir the Wildwood costs 2. Velaflash costs 1 and doesn't really do anything for us.
Yeah.
I don't think we want Inspire Lightning, although it is very tempting. But it doesn't have Go again. That's the problem with Inspire Lightning. But it is tempting. Just from the card is pretty sweet. Okay. So what I lean towards here, call me crazy, but I'm thinking add the Arcanic Shockwaves and the Minnowisms. And the Minnowisms. That's what I'm thinking. This might be very, very foolish.
Risky. Very risky.
Well, again, it's still like, so if we do this, the things that Minnowism can be used on are these ball lightnings, so that's 4, plus the 2 shockwaves, that's 8, plus these 2 here. So that's another 4, so that's 12 actually. So that means your chances are you will have a card with 3 power in every hand.
Right.
Which means that anytime you have Minnowism, you should be able to use it. That's not going to happen every time, but like statistically speaking.
But how many yellows are we up now?
We are up to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Plus a blue. But again, Ravenous Rabbles only 4 cards.
That's true.
And Minnowism will be red. That's the beauty of adding Minnowism, is that won't mess up our numbers at all. Because we'd add the red one that gives +3. So it's basically like Come to Fight, but it costs 0. So if we do that, then we are 2 cards away. Main deck cards, 38. So we would need 2 more. That should be non-attack actions.
Non-attack actions.
That's what we should be looking for. I don't think we want Talisman of Dowsing.
Do we want any
defense
reactions? Or I forget if we.
Well, that wouldn't count for an attack action or non-attack action.
That's
so if
true,
we do that, we'd have to
action.
lose attacks, or we would have to.
Never mind then.
I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible idea. And to be fair, we could go down something like Arcanic Shockwave, maybe. How many lightning cards do we have now? We have 2, 6, 10.
Don't forget some of them elemental, because there are some that
Well,
have
yeah,
lightning
we have 10 lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight lightning.
Okay.
So we should have one in every hand for fusing. So the Entwined Lightning should always have Go Again, in theory. That does have some downsides to it, where you're playing Ball Lightning after them, which sucks. Or I suppose you could do like Entwined Lightning turn, and then you set up the Ball Lightning turn the following turn. But the important thing is the Arcanic Shockwave is usually going to be dealing arcane damage.
Did we discuss Invigorate?
We mentioned it briefly.
So the red...
I'm a little concerned about it now.
It is fuse.
Yes, that's why. So we have 8 cards that fuse, I think. The 4 Shockwaves, the 4 Entwined Lightnings, and I think that's it. So it's going to be hard for this amulet to see use too, but if it doesn't see use for a long time too, it can kind of just sit out there, and then just at some point it gives us Go Again.
But the amulet can count towards fusion.
Yes. Yeah, it is a lightning card, so it helps to fuse things. And it's a non-attack action, and our only blue in the deck. So right now, it looks like we should have 2 more non-attacks. Yep. But I don't know what we add there.
Read the runes.
But that doesn't have Go Again.
That's true.
It doesn't have Go Again. We don't have a ton of ways to give it Go Again. We just have the 2 lead the charges, and does Nimbleism do that? No. No, Nimbleism doesn't give Go Again or anything like that. Yeah, we just have the 2 lead the charges, and then we have the amulets. I mean, you could put a Yellow Whisper in? I don't know.
What's the Embodiment of Lightning do again?
If you fuse it, it gains Go Again. Wait, Embodiment of Lightning.
Yes.
Oh, it gives the first attack you play Go Again, I think. Something along those lines. Can I not look it up here? What do I not need? I don't need you.
You?
I already set that. There we go. Try that.
I might have one right here. They won't be able to look at it. Okay, never mind.
Whenever you play an attack action card, destroy Embodiment of Lightning, and the attack gains Go Again. So if the attack already has Go Again, it's wasted.
Okay, but... Right, okay. That's just attack. Never mind.
And that's only if we can play 2 non-attack actions in a turn, which...
Yeah, which we're not playing
I don't think... Yeah, I don't think we're going to be consistently able to do it anyways.
Okay, I just,
Do we add a non-attack action that costs more than 0?
Ooh, that's risky.
That's the question. Do we add like a Come to Fight or a Warmongers? Because I think those are probably best choices if we're going to go red. You know what I mean? I don't know which one we would choose over the other in that case.
Could always add another Bramblespark.
We could, but then we have to add the blue. Same for ball. Oh. Well, we don't want Ball Lightning.
Do we already have the red and the yellow Bramblespark? Yep. Okay, never mind then.
Yep. That's our only yellow non-attack action. I don't know. I mean, like, if it only costs 1, it does... we can usually pitch for it. Because a red can pay that. Do we do, like, Warmongers?
Well, I mean, if we're...
Or do like a yellow Nimbleism that gives +2, but... I don't necessarily like that. We only have 4 Ravenous Rabbles, but our deck is actually very high-tuned for good Ravenous Rabbles. don't know how good that is, but... And Crown of Dictamy does not get Ravenous Rabble. That's a shame. How many Rune Blade non-attack actions do we have? Just the Bramble Sparks? The 4 of them? Okay. Just making sure Crown of Dictamy actually does something in our deck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd lean towards maybe doing like red Warmongers, just trying it. It costs 1, but it gives +3, and it puts stuff back in our deck, which is always nice. It blocks for less than Come to Fight, but I don't think that's a concern in Briar, since in theory we should have embodiments for every turn that buffs how much it blocks for. Mm-hmm. Although maybe that's the difference between your Come to Fight blocking for 3 or 6. You know, so maybe the Warmongers blocks for 5 and the Come to Fight blocks for 6. You can do 2 cards worth of blocking with 1 card. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, looking at the options. I feel like maybe we do the one thing that costs 1. And it doesn't affect any of our other cost-related things, because like Nimblism is for attacks. So Warmongers won't mess that up.
Mm-hmm. It does have Go Again.
Yep. If they didn't have Go Again on Warmongers, that'd be so troll.
Or
your next attack gets +3, but also you have no action points anymore.
We could do a Yellow Whisper.
We could do a Yellow Whispers, but then we're also making our Rabbles weaker if we go yellow. So the choice is, do we make our Rabbles weaker, or do we take something that, you know, we'll have to pitch for, but again, at least it's only cost 1.
Yep.
So all of our tons of reds can pitch for that.
And I guess the pitch does go right back in.
Yep.
Build some turns.
Well, then if we do Warmongers, that puts us at the 40, right?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, 40 main deck cards. So we have the 14 non-attack actions, the 24 attack actions, and then the 2 items, which are non-attack actions.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives us exactly 2 cards that pitch for 3. And 2 cards that cost more than 0.
Yep.
What a wild deck. Why is this possible? Why is this a thing that can happen? Now I understand why they're not running the blue ball lightnings though, because it actually doesn't buff that many things. Like it just buffs the shockwaves and entwine lightnings and lightning surges, those things. But it does do really, really dirty things, because that does buff the arcane damage that Arcanic Shockwave does. That's why I wanted the yellow too, because there's just so many synergies.
We could pitch our amulets to play our Warmongers.
Don't even need to. You can pitch any of the cards to play Warmongers. If you pitch a yellow, one of the yellows, then you can pay for Warmongers and the Thorn.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Alright, well. Then now we just have to finish the equipment. Yeah, look at this. Look at the card cost.
Yeah.
Look at the charts.
That's so bad.
That's 26 reds, 12 yellows, and 2 blues. Dear Lord. Oh, that's hilarious. Alright. Well then, we still have to decide on arms. Which, yeah, let's, rather than even use my notebook at this point, let's just reset this and do common. Can I do both of them? I forget. Can I have multiples? I can. Sweet. Common and token equipment. Search. How many pages? Just 2 pages. Okay. So, Aether Iron Weave actually doesn't do a lot for us, to be fair, but like, it's battle worn, right?
Yep,
so I think that just
worn.
I think that's just better than the alternatives on that. Let's see. Bracers of Belief. Reveal the top card of your deck. If you do, the next attack action card you play this turn gets +X, where X is 3 minus the pitch value. That is funny. That is funny that kind of synergizes with the Ravenous Rabble plan. But I feel like Are there better options? Is Stubby Hammers better? What does Hammers do again? Does that care about the power of attacks, or does that care about the cost of attacks?
3 or less base power.
Ooh. So that would buff the, what was it, 12 cards? These 4 plus Arcanic Crackle, so that's 6. And then it would be these 6, so 12. So Stubby Hammers buffs all of them plus 1 that are that low of power.
Mm-hmm.
Bracers of Belief buffs 1 attack by an amount that's plus 0 to 3. Or 0 to 2. Because it's 3 minus the pitch. So at best case scenario it's plus 2. At worst it is plus 0 if we flip the one of the 2 amulets. But otherwise it's going to be plus 1 to plus 2 on average.
What about Goliath's Gauntlet? Ooh. You ever see that in play?
Yeah, a lot. Not in this deck.
No.
We don't have anything it can be used on.
Oh yeah, you're right. I was thinking base power.
No. It's good in Viscerai. It's actually really good in Viscerai, and it's also insane. It's insane in Dash. Dash loves Goliath Gauntlet.
Really? I wouldn't see that in Dash.
Oh, most of your stuff costs 2, actually.
Really?
Like, there's a lot of stuff that costs 2. It's like 0 to 60 doesn't, but like Throttle does. I think Overloop does, if I remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Combustible Courier, Overblast, all of those. Although you wouldn't use it on Overblast, that would be bad, because then you broke the chain. Cracker Jacks, the next attack action card you play this turn gets plus 1. Yeah, I don't think even here we use Cracker Jacks.
Mark of Lightning is also kind of mediocre for this.
Well, it depends. Like, I'm trying to think. So, like, Stubby Hammers has the upside of if we hit all the 3 power or lower ones in a single turn, suddenly Stubby Hammers actually does a lot.
Yeah, I could see that.
Bracers of Belief is going to consistently buff 1 attack by a higher amount.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's like, if you're only finding 1 attack with 3 power or less in a single turn, then Stubby Hammers is going to do probably less than Bracers of Belief over the long time. And I guess if 12 cards are 3 power or less, that means statistically we're usually only going to have 1. So that would imply that Bracers of Belief, as shocking as this might be, is actually better than Stubby Hammers.
Because it's more consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Mark of Lightning has some crazy turns, in theory. That deals 1 damage if they block the attack, right? And it's non-specified damage. But the attack deals the damage, right?
Yep. The attack deals the damage.
So, what that'll do is, 1, it gives us another embodiment on that turn. Mm-hmm. And if we happen to go off with Ball Lightnings, that will increase the damage Mark of Lightning does. If we use it on an elemental or lightning attack.
Now, mind you, it's only 1.
Yes, it deals only 1. But it'll always deal the 1. Because it's whenever a lightning or elemental attack you control is defended by a card. Okay, so we would have to be one of those, but we do have a lot of them, right? We have the 4 Ball Lightnings, the 4 Shockwaves, that's 8. The 4 Entwined Lightnings is 12. The 4 Lightning Surges gets it up to 16. So yeah, we're going to consistently have something we can crack that on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Bracers of Belief has a higher potential because it could give +2. But I mean, Mark of Lightning could, if you have the crazy turn with Ball Lightning, it can do a ton of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Mark of Lightning was going to be bad, but I'm starting to come around to it, and maybe that's the right one.
You know, we thought it was bad, and then we thought it was good, and then we thought it was bad. Now we think it's good.
I think it is good. I think it actually is good.
We're just underestimating it.
Like, well, because basically it's going to always get you that 1 point of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Bracers of Belief can give you 0. So, like, but it also can give you 2.
Yep.
But it's only going to buff 1 attack. Stubby Hammers can buff many attacks, potentially, but it's not likely.
Right.
But Mark of Lightning is going to always deal 1.
So it is the most consistent of the 3.
And it's unblockable 1.
Oh,
well, it can be blocked by, like, a Runaways, but it's not Arcane. So it can't be blocked by Arcane Barrier.
Yep.
So it gets around that problem.
But, I mean, who runs the Runaways?
It's in my old him deck. Well, Runaways is actually, like, we put that in our sideboard, probably.
Yeah.
Like, probably. Although, what are our boots? Yeah, no, we put it in our sideboard.
But if you're playing against a Briar,
yep,
you'll probably want something that blocks Arcane rather than...
Probably. But, I mean, like, in theory, Runaways is, like, actually a good Pauper card.
Yeah, I could see it.
But, yeah, I think Mark of Lightning is our champion.
Okay.
I think that's where we're going. So this is our starting setup. We have Rosetta Thorn, Crown of Dictamy, Aether Iron Weave, Mark of Lightning, Snapdragon Scalers. Mm. And that leaves us with how many more? 5? Sideboard? No. How many?
I thought it was 11,
sideboard?
Isn't it?
Is it 11? Did they
I
really?
Can't remember.
Did they make it a?
You told me.
Did they make it an uneven number like that? I forget. It's somewhere between 10 and 12. That's what I can't remember. I feel like it's 12. I feel like it's actually 12.
I get my rules from you.
Nope, you're right. 11. No. All right. You got me. You got me. All right, we got 6.
You played yourself here. You told me these rules like years ago.
Would we ever play Nebula Blade over Rosetta Thorn? 2 is expensive, I'm realizing on reflection, considering the deck we just built.
Yep, 1 is expensive.
One is expensive. But, you know, maybe you play the stuff with Go again, and you got the Lightning Surge to fuse in hand, and then you get to the end of the chain, and you're like, well, I'll just Rosetta Thorn instead of Lightning Surge, maybe. You know, I just talked up Runaways, but I think we actually do prefer Null Rune boots over Runaways. I'm trying to think. So, like, what's our easiest stuff to lose here? I mean, Crown of Dictamy is actually pretty easy for us to take out, but, like, it's also very hard for us to find a better replacement.
Yep.
I guess if we... So, we're going to have some number of physical stuff, right? For blocking physical damage. Which, in that case, we're probably better off with, like... Do we run Ironhide or do we run Iron Rot? Iron Rot's Blade Break, but it only blocks 1. Ironhide we have to pitch for, but it blocks 2.
See, I don't like either, so you're asking the wrong person.
Well, this is sideboard. You're probably not even going to bring it in all that often. It's just if you think another deck is faster than you.
Right, or hits harder.
Yeah. Probably the easiest thing. So we're not going to replace the chess piece with Ironhide, I suppose, because it's got Battle Worn.
Yep.
So I guess we're just like... I mean, like, this is so irrelevant in Pauper. It really is. Like, you're not going to sideboard all that often because your options are so weak.
Right.
But I guess... I guess we do the Ironhide Helm. Ironhide Helm. And...
Instead of the Crown of Dictamy. Ooh, weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're almost never going to do that.
I guess, yeah, you're switching
it's probably,
Arcane for physical.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing you're most likely to actually sideboard for matchups is you're probably going to lose the gloves. You know what I mean? Like, there's such a high upside for the gloves, but it's also such a low side. You know what I mean? Just 1 damage. So, like, that's probably the card that comes out the most often. So I guess we put in Null Rune gloves as well. Because, like, you're probably not going to sideboard all that often, but, like, if you run against a wizard, you're going to sideboard out the null ring, or the Mark of Lightning, you know what I mean?
So, in that case, should we also have a physical glove to switch in?
Yeah, I have the iron... So, right now I have Ironhide Helm, Ironhide Gauntlets, Ironhide Legs.
Okay.
And then I have the Null Rune Gloves. And I think maybe Null Rune Legs. The boots. For, like, Snapdragon Scalers. If we run into, like, the high wizard matchup, where it's just, like, we probably can kill them fairly easily, but we need to have some sort of protection for Arcane. And this gives us 2 Arcane sources then with the... Actually, in that case, we have 3. We have the Crown, Gloves, and Boots at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves us with 5 cards in the sideboard, 1 slot left. So we can take a Nebula Blade.
Do we need it? What do we need it for?
But do we need anything? Like, are we gonna realistically swap out the chess piece for a Null Rune Robe? Realistically speaking, if we run into a wizard, which is a terrible deck in Pauper in general.
Pauper wizard. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just kill him before we take a hit.
Yeah, I mean, like, is there a world in which we sideboard out all 4 pieces of equipment for Null Rune? Like. Well, actually not all 4 because Crown is the main board. So then the question is there a world in which we switch Crown for, like, Ragamuffins, Lens, Hope Merchants?
When you're up against a wizard, you could switch to the Vest of the First Fist. Because you don't need to block physical. We don't care about the Arcane because we already have enough.
Is Vest better than Aether Ironweave? Are we going to be able to more consistently benefit from that?
When you use an attack action card, you destroy it and get 2 resource.
It's not when you use, you hit, right?
When an attack action card you control hits. Yes.
Yeah, so we do still have to hit. But it's not awful, I suppose. That's 1.
I just said it jokingly right here.
That's 1. Nebula Blade. Do you know what I just realized too? Aether Ironweave, we're never going to use that second point. We're only ever going to use the 1 resource pretty much. Because, like, that's a Rosetta Thorn. Crown of Dictamy doesn't have Go again. So we're either going to crack the Crown or we're going to attack with a Rosetta Thorn. But But I mean, that does it's a battle worn chess piece that does something else. So, like, it's still going to be the best in slot. But I do think it is possible that we end up sideboarding it out into a matchup where we don't care. Like, do we do, like, Deep Blue? No, wait, Deep Blue is awful. We don't need resources. Deep Blue is awful. It's terrible. I mean, Blood Drop Brocade does the same thing that Vest of the First Fist does for us, essentially.
But that's only if you've dealt or been dealt.
I mean...
So it's a little bit...
Yeah. But, like, if you hit, you've dealt damage.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, arcane damage doesn't count as hitting, either. So I think there is a potential world we bring in something like that, but I mean, realistically speaking, the chances that we're able to activate a Blood Drop Brocade and not activate an Aether Ironweave seems so low.
The benefit to the Blood Drop is that it's an instant.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take an action.
Yep. I don't even... And this doesn't even matter. We're gonna, like, never do this. Mm-hmm. This is, like, literally never going to happen.
It's more for OCD filling. Well, you know what?
Well, it's because you have a slot.
We could pander to a nice even 10.
What?
Doesn't that sound nice? Instead of 11 equipment.
No, then you're missing a card. You're missing a card. It's 11 plus the hero. That makes 12.
You know. You win
and
some,
then all the
you
tokens.
lose some.
And then all the tokens. Is there any matchup where we take out Crown? Like, so we're against someone who doesn't do arcane damage. Is there something we'd rather have than Crown?
Than Crown of Dictamy?
Like, Crown of Dictamy can get us stuff out of our graveyard, but it costs, and it doesn't have Go again. And it only gets us Runeblade stuff. Like, would we ever prefer to have, like, a Hope Merchants or Ragamuffins?
Hope Merchant just means we take all our 0-cost cards, put it at the bottom of our deck, and draw more 0-cost cards.
You shuffle them in, and then you draw.
That's true.
But it's like, you could do it for trying to, like, play around, trying to get the, like, say you have, like, ball lightnings, bunch of ball lightnings, and then no, like, elemental cards or something like that. You could use it to try and, like...
It is any number, that's true.
I'm actually almost at the point now that I'm like, is this even more main boardable than Crown of Dictamy? Crown of Dictamy is just what you do when you need Arcane Barrier?
Yep.
I don't even know.
That's possible.
Alright, let's throw the Hope Merchants in.
Alright.
We'll fill the last slot with that, because Crown of Dictamy is just so mediocre.
We can debate it.
And then, like, I think, isn't the Earth one, like, 10 times worse, too? Isn't it just, like, super bad?
The Earth Plume?
Oh, it's not even listed here.
The Plume of Evergrowth?
Yeah. What does that do? Does that only grab Earth things?
Instant, pay 3, destroy, return target Earth action card or Earth instant from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, so it does nothing in our deck.
It does nothing.
It does literally nothing in our deck. Okay. Alright, well I think we have a list then.
So are we saying that the the Merchant's Hood is main board now, and the
I don't know. I've left Crown as the main board right now. Just because
we could just leave it up to user's discretion.
That's true.
It's an informed decision here you're making.
Yeah, because it's one of those things you can kind of... There's a lot of really busted turns we can have with this deck, where you do, like, multiple ball lightnings and stuff like that. So, like, having a hat where you can kind of fix your hand a bit more to try and find those sweet turns seems like it could be really, really good, but...
And I mean, from experience, it has been good.
That's true. It has been good. It was very good in the Ira deck.
But I mean, then again, you don't remember the times where it's not been good.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless it's happened more often.
But, like, if there is... I feel like that may be something you'd be more likely to do than crack the hat.
Mm-hmm. I do remember in that one game that we had, which I don't know if they've seen.
Probably not.
It was Hope Merchants against Ragamuffin.
I mean, the Hope Merchants did more, that's true.
Dog water. And yours was just like
dog water.
Absolutely
dog water. Look again, that ran hot. That could not have given me better cards. Because like my hand was terrible. And then I just pitched half of it. I'm like, well, these are the best parts of the terrible. And then I drew perfect. I was like, okay. But I mean, that is kind of the argument for Hope Merchants, is that it lets you do that. Where you can have a hand that just looks literally terrible, no synergies, and you just pitch half of it, and now suddenly you have a crazy synergistic hand.
My poor cold foil Ragamuffin set.
I don't think I've used the cold foil Coat of Frost yet.
No.
And I'll tell you what I won't use, the cold foil Cracker Jacks.
Oh.
This was the one deck that was the most likely to use Cracker Jacks and didn't even consider it.
No. You're just like,
nope.
Cracker Jacks?
Bracers of Belief has more upside. Like, Cracker Jacks will consistently give us the one, but Bracers could give us double that. So, yeah. Well, I think we have a Commoner Blitz Briar, and I think it actually looks, in a weird way, rather similar to the classic constructed decks we're looking at. Though this is way more difficult than like the other Blitz decks I built, because those have had Blitz decks to go off of.
Yep.
I'm not looking at classic constructed, which has sideboard cards and all that stuff too, but I think we didn't put any of the like sideboard only cards in this list really without any good reason. I think the sideboard cards are mostly like the Remembrances and probably like the Snatches and Plunder Runs to some degree. Although maybe not. Maybe those were actually main board. And, I mean, we just lose out on them being rare.
And, I mean, if you guys want to add sideboard cards, you can, you know.
Well, you
can tweak this thing in the garbage all you want. It doesn't matter us.
But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to actually build this in cards now and then actually play with it.
Okay.